Hello chefs, today I'm doing fish because one of our brothers has been to Scotland and he caught some mackerel and he told me about it, so I suggested he prepare his mackerel in oats. So I didn't get the mackerel, but I got some red fish instead, fillets, which is just as good. It's not as oily, but it has quite a lot of flavor. And all I do is just coat it with a oat and apple, and then I fried. In the meanwhile I got some steamed vegetable to go with it. So I start straight away with the preparation. We try to keep the skin on, so we scale it, and the best way to scale the fish without making too much of a mess is to scale it inside a plastic bag. So you put it in and you do all the work in there so you don't get scales all over the place. You need a slightly serrated edge knife, and all you do is just from tail to head trying to remove as much scale as possible. It's best to do this when a fish is fresh, and usually even better before it's filleted. But all you're trying to do is just to lift the scale from the skin. Now you could use other fish if you wanted to. You could do it in trout, it's very good, or even some of the lesser fish like pollock, but it has to be a fish that doesn't flake up too much. So things like cod is a bit difficult, and haddock too. Usually a small fish, a redfish, parrotfish, a red snapper will be alright. So what I'm doing now is just shave off as much as possible of the scale, and the scales are flicking up inside the bag, and I can feel more than see that now the skin is almost smoothly shaved. So what I do, I just take my fillet out, wash it, take off all the scales, and that goes in a bin without too much of a mess. So next I take the fish out of the water, and I need to dry it up with a bit of a kitchen paper. Meanwhile I got the pan on heat, the vegetables steaming, so it should be coming together nicely, and dry up as much as possible. I just done one of the fillets. I got two fillets, but one I prepared earlier, so not to bore you with a lot of scaling. Let it dry, and I prepare a tiny bit of marinade, which is a bit of Worcester sauce. I do it on a flesh part. The skin won't absorb much because it's meant to be waterproof. A bit of salt, not too much because it's a saltwater fish. Tiny bit of lemon juice. I prepare this in bulk and keep it. And some pepper. And all I do is just reassemble the fish, put flesh against flesh, and I can prepare it in advance if you have lots of them to do. Next I prepare the coating, which is straightforward. Again, a nice apple, doesn't matter as long as it's not too ripe, a bit under, and all I do is just grate it, skin and all, into the dish which I'm going to put the oats. About a quarter of an apple for each fillet is more than sufficient. So half an apple in my case. Clean up a bit. Careful I don't have a mishap. Then I mix in the oats, more or less the same amount, and tiny bit of flour, so to make it stick. And just mix it together. so as to make a fairly dry sort of concoctions. If it's not dry enough, a bit more oat. Great. And all I do is prepare my pan, oil and butter, 50-50. We've done this before, the oil for the heat, the butter for the flavor. And all I do is just try and coat my fish with the apple and oat. And it needs quite a bit of help to make it stick. Make it a fairly even coating. The skin side is not as important as the flesh side. The pan is coming up to a nut brown color. And all I do is just put in the fillet with the oats, the second one. Use that as a coating. You could do the same with potato instead of oat, which makes it a kind of a full dish. You can see it doesn't stick too well. The flour should do the trick eventually. And in it goes. Although I need to just let it cook. Nice and easy. It takes about a couple of minutes. So hopefully I managed to get everything in one video. Non-stick pan is obviously a must. And check that you got enough of the fat around the fish. I can see there's a bit of a dry spot there, so a tiny bit more butter in the corner. And I check the bits of oats getting slightly brown. You can see them sort of coming off there. And it should be sort of golden colour. That's what the sake was showing. Which means the first fish is ready for turning over. I should be very gentle and try not to lose the coating. It's far better with a fresh fish, where it's still got the natural sort of a sea slime, which is the fish comes with it. And you can see the fish is slightly curling up because of the skin side. Put the coating back on. And it won't be long before it's ready. Just about a minute. So the whole thing will take about 10 minutes. If I had a fresh lime or fresh lemon, I'd put it as a garnish. So I can already get my plate ready and check the vegetables. Yeah, they're cooked. I got some mixed vegetables which I prepare in small bits, and then I put in at different stages from the hardest to the softest. So I got some carrots, I got some cauliflower, I got some green beans, and I got a tiny bit of pak choy. And the fish, yeah, is ready now. Just let it sort of cook through. And I present my vegetables. So I get nice heap of mixed vegetable, nice different colors on the side. And I leave them fairly plain because there's quite a lot of fat from the butter and the oil and also the fish. And then the fish on the side. First one that went in comes out first. Just sort of lift it up onto the vegetables. Switch everything off. And it should have a nice crunchy sort of coating. And as you can see, some of it come off. Just put it back on. Don't worry too much about it. And the pork choy just on top. And I say lemon of lime with it. So that is it. Hope you're going to enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.